Good morning, friends. I'm putting this message together for the purpose of our discipleship training ministries. I have two groups now, and one of them I just started. We have 5 members thus far, and that's good enough for now. But I was hoping for 3, so we have 5, and that's a good start. But I'm putting this together to explain to you something I'm doing and something I'm going to redo for the sake of new members and for the sake of our new group. For the last 16 weeks, I have been sharing you audio messages as well as outlines from Martin Lloyd-Jones' book on preachers and preaching. Friends, the reason I'm doing this is that when I was going to Bible school and training, I never knew about this book. I think if I was conducting a Bible training institute, I would make this book a requirement for all preachers. Friends, it's so concise and so complete. There's not an area he hasn't covered. Such things as even the building of a building and the importance of acoustics or the audience or different types of endings of sermons. He has everything you conceive of that's part of the preaching ministry. And I hope that you will take the time to listen to all of these. As for myself, I have read this book at least, and I say that modestly, at least 5 times since I purchased it. In these last 16 weeks, as I have putting together each chapter to present as audios, I have been required to go over every one of these messages at least 3 times. One of them is going over to check for any typo or problematic areas. There is one thing about some of these books, the word first, FIRST, always comes out as RST, or the FI, for strange reasons, seems to be missing from so many of these words. So as I listen carefully after I place the audio, I need to make those corrections before I submit them to you. So all that is done beforehand. But I am getting the benefit from all these studies because I have had to put them together and listen to them and understand them myself. And friends, if I was conducting a Bible school, I would make Martin Lloyd-Jones' book a requirement to graduate. Now, one thing about this book, it will cause you to see all the things you have not done in your past ministry. And it would help you. There has been infused in my mind since I started reading this book, these principles. And as I read them now, I say, oh, I'm doing that. I'm doing it. Oh, yeah, I remember doing that. Or once in a while, I'll catch myself doing something I shouldn't be doing. So this book is a high standard for ministers. And I hope that you take the time to listen to all of them. I know that you're busy, but you need to understand what God has called you to do. And Martin Lloyd-Jones has made it clear what it means to be called to preach. And if you have to discard all the other books you have on preaching, make sure you keep this one and review it at least once a year because it's going to be beneficial to you. So what I'm doing now is, for the sake of new members and a new group, I just finished the 16th chapter last night. And incidentally, the last chapter is the most important one you have to read. And one of the things he says, and that I like, he says, the working of the Holy Spirit doesn't come through the act of preaching. It comes through the act of preparation. The Holy Spirit works as you are preparing and studying and thinking and meditating on the scriptures. You have something to say. It's not important how you say it, but what it is important to do is to have something that's beneficial for the people. I remember A.W. Tozer was going to these conferences, and he always compared himself to all these other fancy preachers that always had this nice flowery service. He says, well, he says, I don't have a fancy plate to put it on, but I give them good food. And friends, that really is necessary. So in this last chapter, he saved that to last to put together probably the most important part. So if you don't read the rest of the book, I hope you do. Make sure you read the 16th chapter. Now, what I'm doing is I'm taking all these messages I have given you these past 16 weeks or so, however long it's taken, and I'm putting together in one link and resubmitting them to you as one writing. In other words, all 16 messages with outlines are all incorporated in this link. So I will send you a copy of the link. I won't remove the past messages, but I'll give you the link so you can have it and so you can review it yourself. I think this is the simplest way to do it without having to post 16 different messages. I've already done that. So now I can just give it to you as a link and you can look at them yourself and file them away or whatever you want to do with it. But they are very good messages. As far as I'm concerned, I had taken 3 years of homiletics in Bible school, and I never heard of this book at the time. I'm sure that if prayer was still in existence, they would require that by now, but they didn't at the time. So I think that's important. I also would like to say that I think it's very important for you to take a course in New Testament Greek. I took mine from Moody Bible Institute, and as I have looked at other courses, Moody's has stand out as superior to all of them because it dealt with everything, all the different cases. Some books only teach 4 cases of Greek. Moody brings out all 7 of them, and all of that's important. If you never studied Greek, it's Greek to you probably, but if you studied any Greek, you understand its importance. There's a lot of people that like to pretend they're Greek scholars. And the only way to tell they are not is by having Greek yourself and checking them out. And I hope you check everybody out. Don't believe anybody who thinks he's called to preach. And because it happens to be a pastor and a large congregation, that doesn't mean he's legitimate. If he doesn't read the scriptures and if he doesn't expound the scriptures in the way that people can understand it, then you have a reason to question any minister who doesn't do his job faithfully. And friends, there are a lot of them, lots of them. In fact, I could hardly find any that are faithful. That's how bad it is today. Everybody wants to be the preacher, but nobody wants to do it right and do it the way God has prescribed it in his word. No one wants to read the scriptures anymore. They just buy the books and gobble up everything they're taught. Friends, we need to be men of the word. And that's what my purpose and goal is for this group. And I'm going to be sharing with you ways to study the Bible and teach it to your people. I want you, friends, I want you to be able to do all the things that I'm doing. And I don't know if I'll ever be in my lifetime be able to share with you what has taken me over 60 years to learn, but I'm trying, and I'll keep trying. Maybe the Lord will give me 60 more years. Who knows? Uh, I'm doing quite well. I'm losing my weight. I'm getting down and exercise more and do everything I can to be healthy and be useful in the Lord's work. So I put this together for you because I want you to know what I'm doing. So the next little while, the next thing I'll send to you is a link with all those messages I just finished sharing with you on Martin Lloyd Jones' book on preachers and preaching. Now, like I said, they're available free on audios as lectures by Martin Lloyd Jones himself. But I myself sometimes have a hard time understanding or listening to what he has to say because of the way he says things. So by doing it this way, you're avoiding these other problems and giving you the straight message. Well, I said enough and everything I want to say, so be aware of my next link I share with you on that book, and I hope that you will avail yourself. And if you haven't started reading that book, at least read the 16th chapter. I think you'll be motivated to read the rest. You should be, because if you want to know what God calls you to do, you need to find out. And I think Martin Lloyd Jones has done a wonderful job in putting together this book. Well, we'll see you later. Thank you for listening and paying attention.